Hello everyone, long time no see. This video was supposed to happen like a while ago, like over a month ago now. But after, and I hate the fact this is another book haul, but after my birthday, I went Christmas shopping, or slightly before my birthday, whatever. I went book shopping because that's all I wanted for my birthday and Christmas was books. So I got sick after I went book shopping, and I was sick for about 2 weeks. And during that time, my stepdad had to go to the hospital for a collapsed bowel, or a part of his intestines collapsed and his stomach wasn't processing food, or it wasn't actually working at all. So he's fine now, but he was home for about 3 weeks after he got out of the hospital. And that was also during the time where I was kind of sick for the first half of it, and the second half of it, we had this big snowstorm where we got about, I would say, 12 to 14 inches of snow. So I haven't had time to film because I don't want to film when other people are in the house. So, and I think I'm getting sick again. So I need to film this video now before I possibly get sick again. If I sound congested, it's because I am. Alright, this video is going to be long enough without me rambling on, so let's just get on to the books. I'm going to start with, I guess this, because I got this from the library for like 50 cents. It's The Ashes of London. It's supposed to be about the fires that happened in London back in the 1700s, I think, and it, I'm not sure how like historically accurate it's going to be, but there's also, it's about following this detective and how he is tracking this murderer that's kind of like using the fires to cover up the murders. And I picked this up a couple of months ago, so I can't really remember much more of the details besides that. But I was like, this sounds interesting enough, and I'm paying 50 cents for it. I was like, I have no room on my shelf for this, and it's pretty thick, but you know what? I'm getting it. The next book I have is technically not a book to read. It's the Harry Potter World of Stickers book. It has 934 stickers in it. I paid $30 for this book, although they were having a sale, and I'm not sure if this counted for the sale because it was only on hardcover books, but this is hardcover and it is technically a book, so I don't actually know how much I paid for this. I either paid $30 or I paid 1/3 of that price. But I really love these stickers. They're really cool. I love them so much. They're so pretty. Some are kind of average. I mean, and I don't know exactly what I'll use these for yet, or if I'll actually ever use them. I may just keep them as a collection of Harry Potter stickers. Who knows? I just knew I'd regret not getting them. So there's that. If I use them, I use them. If I don't, I don't. Next, I think I'm going to move on to the books I got from Goodwill, and I think that's just a small little stack. I honestly didn't want to go through the stack. I have 3 stacks I have on my floor to see if I had any more that came from Goodwill. Well, this came from a Salvation Army, technically. And it's called City of Ember by, I'm not even going to, I can't right now. Like I said, I'm very sick. I feel like I'm getting sick and I'm very congested and I just don't want to think right now. So there's the name of the author. First off, it's a middle grade, and it's about this underground city and how the lights are slowly turning off, and it's like they have to figure out why they're turning off. And I think this is a decently sized series. I think there's at least 4 books in it. This is book 1. I'm probably going to read this, see if I like it, and then if I like it enough to continue reading it but not buy it, I'll probably see if the library has any of them. I'd never heard of this, and I knew me taking a picture of the book would not help me remember to like look into it later, because I do that with so many books, and I really need to get on that. So I decided to pick up this first volume because it came from a Salvation Army where it was like 5 books for $1. So I only got 2 books from there. Or I got this book and my mom got 1 book. So I don't even know how much we paid for them. Not a lot. And I got 4 books from a Goodwill in Indiana that, let's be honest, cost way too much. Goodwill's in Kentucky, have books for like $1 a piece. And granted, they're not books that you would like be looking for. Like if you find a book that you actually want, it's very rare. This Goodwill, they're like anywhere between $3 and $5 was the most I paid, but I've seen some for $10 in there. And sadly, they have more books than I would ever find in a Kentucky one, or a Salvation Army, or a thrift store, or I can't remember what the other thing I was gonna say was, but there's another place you can buy books from that's like a used place. So I got 4 books from there. But anyways, the first book I have here is A Wish in the Dark, and I definitely am not trying that last name. But this book, I mostly wanted it because, well, it has an award, so I'm assuming it's at least decent. But this cover is freaking beautiful. And it looks like it's set in like China or Japan, rural Japan, or it could be even Korea. I'm not sure. And it doesn't really tell me on the back. So I just really liked the way this cover looked, and I bought it because of that. So is that a little shallow? Yes. But it's pretty and I didn't want to leave it. Then we have Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Sepetys. I have not read a Ruta Sepetys book, and I do have one book of hers. I Must Betray You. I have that on my shelf, and I've been meaning to read it. Between Shades of Grey, I haven't heard much about. I usually hear more about Salt to the Sea, but this was cheap. Well, cheap adjacent. And I was like, you know what? If I get in a Ruta Sepetys mood, I want to have, you know, at least more than one of her books, so I can read it as, you know, as the mood hits me, which I don't know when that'll be. And then I've been looking for this, or I've been wanting to get this book for a long time, but it's You've Reached Sam. For the life of me, don't ask me what it's about. It's pretty under the cover. Don't ask me what it's about because I can't remember. I think it's about leaving messages and stuff like that on your phone for people, and it's like, I don't know. My head really hurts. But I love this cover, and I remember reading about this book, it feels like years ago now, and it's just always been on my radar to like pick up if I could find it cheap, and I found it cheap. Cheap being $5, but still cheaper. Next, I have Ashfall by Mike Mullen. This surprised me. It's actually young adult, and I think it's about, I don't want to say post-apocalyptic, but it's about a volcano erupting, and either a boy or girl main character, and their journey to find their family during all of this. So it's so thick. I can't decide what side I want to show you. It's so thick. This is apparently book 1, which I didn't notice before. I don't know how many books are going to be to this. I just found the idea of there being a volcano eruption and him having to like track down his family or her family. I can't remember. I just found the concept cool, and I haven't really seen that in any other young adult book. Truthfully, from this cover, I would never have guessed young adult or that there was a volcano involved. Not really hot on the cover. Okay, I guess I have a very small stack of manhwa, danmei, and manga here, so this is where I'm going next. Actually, none of these are manhwa. They're danmei and manga. First off, I have volumes 1 through 3 of One Piece. I have not read any of One Piece. I've only watched the first 200 episodes, so please don't spoil. I am not going to pick up the anime again, I don't think. If I do, it's going to be years down the road when I have nothing better to watch. But I figured I would start reading the manga after I've collected a good bit of it. It took me weeks of searching to find this, and I found it at my local Walmart. I found this in no bookstore, no thrift stores, no online shopping. I didn't find it anywhere where it was in stock. And then I go to my local Walmart and it's just sitting right there mocking me. Next, I have Demon of the Shadow Realm, Volume 5. I have Volumes 1 and 2, and this one I just got off the book outlet. So this is from the same author who made Full Metal Alchemist. So I'm just really excited to get into this. I need to get Volumes 3 and 4 first. I already, which I knew I would, I really like the art style. The backgrounds are iffy because they don't really include a lot of backgrounds in some places, but character designs and everything are fine. I also can't wait to see if I see any kind of like connection or like Easter eggs to Full Metal Alchemist in here. Next, I got Kaiju number 8, volume 7. This is another one I got from Half Price Books. Ow, that hit me in the face. Okay. I got this because it was available and it was $5. I have volume 1 and now volume 7. I don't have much of that series. I didn't even realize it had gotten to the English publication of volume 7. So there we go. Next up, I hear the Sunspot Limit 2. I don't know what volume this is because it's damaged, which I hate, which is sad because there was other volumes there I could have, if I just paid attention. This though, I have, I think 3 other volumes, and they're like, the way this is split up, it's like 3 separate series, but they're all the same story technically, I think. I don't know, it's weird. The only way I can tell if I have volume or not is by the cover, because there's like 3 volume 2s. So, unless I'm crazy and I'm looking at the wrong thing and they're actually different, but, you know, different series, I don't know. I'm just slowly collecting this and I'll look up how to read it later. Next, I have Remnants of Filth Volume 5. I thought this series was done after Volume 4, but apparently not. This is a danmei, and it's made by the same person who makes the Case File Compendium series. So I'm liking that series, so I wanted to pick up this. And, you know, I saw Volume 5. They only had 1 copy left on the shelf, and I'm like, I'll just get it now, because if I don't, I'll forget about it, because I 100% thought this series was finished. And then next, I've never heard of the series. It's called Kinporsche? Am I saying that right? I'm probably not. But this is volume 1. I don't know the whole... I really don't know a lot about this. I think it's Thai BL, and I also think it has the Mafia involved. It says Notorious Crime Family. So, I don't know what the Thai variant of the Mafia is, or the Yakuza. So I'm just going to call it that. And move on. I've never heard of this series. I really hope it's good. I have a thing for Mafia stories, apparently, because every time I see one, I have to pick it up. Now on, this has already been such a long video, but now we're moving on to the 3 large stack of books that I didn't even want to put on my desk here because they're so heavy. Let's get to the first stack, I suppose. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That last book is so heavy. First, I got King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. Fun fact, I have never read the Grisha trilogy or the Six of Crows duology until recently. I recently finished the Grisha trilogy, and it was alright. I didn't care one way or the other for it. Honestly, Six of Crows, I'm almost halfway through that, and if it wasn't for the fact that I was loving Six of Crows so much, I would honestly unhaul the Grisha trilogy, because those books are just, they're not good. And you know what's sadder? I annotated these. I annotated them because everyone talks so highly about them, and I was like, I'm gonna love these books. So I started annotating the first one, and my OCD wouldn't let me stop annotating until I finished all 3. My Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom copies have sprayed edges, so I'm not annotating them. But boy, do I wish they didn't have sprayed edges, because I want to annotate them so bad. They're actually really, really good. I love the characters, especially Kaz, and I don't know, I'm just really, really enjoying my time with it, even though I'm not even halfway through it yet. So King of Scars. I've been looking everywhere for this book, and there was 1 on the shelf at Barnes & Noble's. So even though this is now the only softcover copy I have, and it's going to look so weird next to my very, very large copy of Rule of Wolves. Look at this size difference. That is insane. Pretty cover, though. I do like the pretty cover. But I don't want to say too much about this, but this follows like the story of Nikolai and Zoya, and I think a couple more people from the original Grisha trilogy. I don't know if it's going to have anyone from the Six of Crows duology in here or not, but I kind of hope it does. Because I'm liking all the characters except for Nina so far. And that's because I don't know enough. We just learned a couple of things about her, but I don't know enough about her to like her. Right now she just seems kind of flaky and too much like Zoya. Even though Zoya grew on me towards the end of the Grisha trilogy. Moving on though, they only had a single copy of this. I looked everywhere for months for this book. So, finally have it, even though it's not what I wanted. Next I have, oh, I think there's several here, but the same author. Yeah, they are. Okay. Hooked, Scarred, Wretched, and Hexed. I skipped out on Twisted and Crossed just because I personally just didn't want to read a Notre Dame or a Aladdin retelling. And I honestly can't tell you. I know this one's Peter Pan. I don't know what Scarred or Wretched is, but this one is The Little Mermaid, which I'm really excited for, and I love that it's so much thicker than the others. So these are all okay, I can take that off. Thank goodness. These are all retellings of like Disney or Grimm fairy tales. I don't want to say Disney fairy tales. I'm going to say Grimm fairy tales because that's what they are. I really hope these are good because I bought the 4 volumes of it. I've heard people gushing about them, and that's the reason I picked up so many of them. Well, I picked up this one just because the Little Mermaid one. And I think one of those has to be Beauty and the Beast. But I'm not sure, and I kind of don't want to look at it right now. I think you can read them all as standalones too, which is great. This, I made a list of books. I don't know if I can find it, but I made a list of book titles that I wanted to find, and I found like maybe 9 on this list. So I made this list a long time ago, like 2-3 months ago, before I went and actually bought stuff. So Darker Than 4 was on that list, and I don't remember why, but this is a story, or the book is set in Asia, and already looks like there's like she's a ninja or something, or an assassin with all the swords and everything. So I don't know what this is about. It's a pretty cover, kind of. I like the back cover more, to be fair. But yeah, this, I don't remember why it was on my list, but I forgot to take it out of my cart and like read about it and decide, like reevaluate whether I wanted it or not later. And so it's home with me now. I got The Darkness Within Us, and I have the first book on my shelf, and that's why I bought the second book. It has sprayed edges. It's really pretty. So I hope I like this series. I am going to read Daughter of the Pirate King, which is one of her books, soon. As of right now, I just plan on reading the first book of that. I'm not going to read it anymore. This also has a bookmark, which I didn't notice. This is going to be such a long video. Next I have And the Ocean Was Our Sky by Patrick Ness. This I was lucky enough to get from Ollie's for like $3, and that's pretty much the only reason I picked it up. It's got a lot of art, but it's like, it's not all just art. I say, okay. It does have actual chapters and everything, and I just know it's about a whale, and I think pirates, or maybe not pirates, but what do you call people who live their lives on the ocean and that aren't pirates? Sailors. They're sailors. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I got this for really cheap. That's why I picked it up, and I figured it'd be a quick read. This, I love this cover, is Throne of Secrets by Carrie Maniscalco, and I have her first book somewhere up on the top shelf, I think. Anyways, this came highly recommended to me, but I would have picked it up anyways because I have the first book. Right here. I thought it was on my shelf, but I must have picked it up that day as well. So I have this. I don't know if it's a duology or if it's like gonna be a whole series, but I have the series. I have these books. I have the books. Oh my gosh, I can't think straight. I really am interested in reading her Jack the Ripper. Actually, all of her books sound so up my alley and so good, and yet I've read none of them. And I need, this year, I'm taking care of that. I don't know which series I'm going to start with, but I have like 3 of them now, and I need to just pick one to read. If you guys know which one I should start with, let me know. because I'm leaning more towards stalking Jack the Ripper, but maybe not. Next, this is a big honkin' book, is Cooked Paradise by, this is a complete series. This is so big. I don't know how many books are actually in this, and this isn't a dust jacket either. This is just made like this, which I love. But this is a whole honking book, and I don't know if I'm, it doesn't even say how many books are in this. I don't know how I'm going to get through this, but this is also one that came very highly recommended, so I was like, I'll get it, especially considering this book was not cheap, but at the same time, it's like, I'm getting however many books are in this, which I think is at least 2 or 3, I think, and the price kind of matches, you know, it kind of evens out. I kind of save money buying this big honking complete edition than if I had bought them each individually. Now to sit these on my shelf, or not on my shelf, I have no shelf space. Oh, also, I don't know if you guys can see it. My shirt I got from Christmas says I have no shelf control. And I don't have any shelf control. But my sister-in-law got it for me for Christmas. I have no shelf control and I have no shelf room. We got Babel right off the way. I've been right off the way, whatever. I've been trying to get this book for a long time. I've been wanting to get like a hardcover copy. I just haven't been able to find any. So the biggest reason I want to read this book is because of the title, Babel. It's down here. From the Bible. And I want to read it for myself and just see how many connections there are to the actual Bible in this. That's my reason for getting this book. And then I got this, I think, technically UK edition of The Deathly Hallows by J.K. Rowling. This was cool. I don't know what year this was published. I didn't really look at that. This is a first edition, which is so cool. And it says copyright 2007. So yeah, first edition. I kind of like that's how the chapter is. I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but I want to start collecting the UK editions. I've seen the one for the 5th book, but it was a long time ago, like years, when I didn't have a job and I couldn't actually afford to buy the book. So, and that was, I think it was like it was at a flea market, so it was still overpriced, but at the same time, it was one of these editions, so you can see why. This one I got lucky and it was only $14. I think the one that I saw at the flea market was like $20. Okay, next I have these two that go in the same series. The Serpent and the Wings of Night. Sorry, I can't read. The Ashes and the Star-Crossed King. This one apparently has a bonus chapter. I was going to pick up the most recent release to this series, but it was really expensive, so I just ended up getting these two for now. And I'm not sure if that's a 3rd book in the series or if it's a novella or something. But if I like these 2 books, I will be picking that up. I'll probably be picking it before then. Next, I got Quicksilver by Callie Hart. And this one, I believe, it has something to do with the Grim Reaper and a girl who gets, like, tossed between worlds, and then she gets sent into the Fae, and I'm guessing our boy on the cover protects her from dying while in the Fae world. It's been months, and I can't remember every little summary of all these books, but I think that's it. Next, I have Wistress, which was an impulse buy. It's about a girl who can grant wishes. Oh my gosh, a guy is hunting her down, not knowing it's her, to grant the wish of, I guess, the monarch of this place. I can't even remember where this is set. I want to say some Asian country, but I'm not 100% sure. But it's like her tears can grant the wishes. But I don't know, there's something going on where it's like if she cries or something, she dies or something. I can't remember. But it's something along those lines. Her tears grant wishes. Something's going on where she can't grant the wishes and she has to go to this place to help solve the problem. And sounds good. It was an impulse buy though, because I was like, maybe I should wait a little while on that. But I was like, just get it now. I really have no self-control. Next up, I got They Both Die in the End. And this is a collector's edition, which has a short story and an author letter. So I already have a copy of this book, but I will be unhauling that copy and keeping this copy. I really hope the copy I had already wasn't a collector's edition. This tore me apart. Adam Silvera is very good about that. I've read 2 of his books so far, and they both brought me to tears. And multiple times. And it's just been so hard to like read some of his other books because it's like, am I in a mood to cry my eyes out right now? The answer is not really. I kind of hate this. I got a copy of The Wren and the Holly Library, and this was, I think I got this at the book outlet, so they put like a little black dot at the bottom of on the book somewhere, and they just had to do it on a book that has sprayed edges. I've seen them not put dots on the books before. Just why? I've heard really nothing about this, but it's just one of, I think it's a Romantasy, and I was just like really wanting to buy more Romantasies. Next I have Oaths of, wait, is this book too? Yeah, Oaths of Legacy and Vows of Empire. These are both really short books, and they are, the first book is Bonds of Brass. Funny story, I actually bought these 2 books, and I accidentally rebought the first book because I forgot I had it on my shelf. I just really like the series, and I had it already in my like wish list on Books A Million. So I just bought all 3 books, and I had to return the first book because I was like, I rebought this book. Can I return it for refund? They said yes. I don't know if I've gotten that refund yet, but the snowstorm probably hurt a lot of the, you know, the mail travel. So I'm not too worried about it right now. Like, if another month goes by and I still haven't seen it, then I'll worry about it. So yeah. This is a sci-fi that has a gay main couple, and that was my main reason for buying it. I really like sci-fi, and a gay main couple, it's like, I'm sold. Okay, we are almost done. I have one more stack of books. You know what was funny? When I went to go buy all these books at Barnes & Nobles, or when I bought some at Barnes & Nobles, they had it was a stupid sale. They had a sale that was 1/3 off market price for hardcover books. I bought mostly paperbacks. I bought maybe like 3 hardcover books out of 11. So that was fun. This stack should go through a lot quicker. That's signed? No. Okay. This first stack of books is from the same series. I'll go through them one by one. I don't know if I have these in the right order, so excuse that. But first I have Gilded by Raven Kennedy. Then I have Glint. And here's where, then I have Gleam. And then this is where the covers may have changed, or they were supposed to be doing this, because I could tell that the covers were getting lighter in color. But I have Glow, and then Gold. And I think there's another book in this series. These are so big. These are just like unbelievably thick books. And I don't know when I'm going to get to this series, but this is also another series that came very highly recommended from people in the Romantasy, I don't want to say business, they read a lot of Romantasy, and these are some of their more recommended books from like multiple people, not just like 1 or 2. These next 2 I got just because they were cheap, and Pierce Brown books are not cheap, and that is Dark Age and Iron Gold. It kind of makes me sad because these are really small paperback editions, and I have the first 3 books in hardcover, but I can't find the hardcovers that aren't $30. Like, I don't want to pay $30 for a hardcover book. Like, I'll pay $15 to $20 for a hardcover book, but I'm not going to pay $30. So I saw these at Half Price Books, and I decided to just go ahead and buy them. I'm not even sure how many books are in that series now, or if the series is even finished, but the Red Rising series is a series that I've been interested in since the 3rd book came out. Either the 2nd or 3rd book came out. So I've been interested in it in a while, but it's one of those things. I have a really bad problem even with manga, where I don't want to start the series until it's finished. And I also want to collect the series so that I have it all here so I can read it whenever I want and I don't have to wait on it getting to the library if the library doesn't have it, and then having a deadline of when I have to read it. That is my biggest pet peeve. I don't like to have like a timer set on how long I can keep a book to read it. I mean, my library is very good about, like, they check the books out for however long you want, as long as there's not somebody in line to get it. And 9 times out of 10, there's not going to be, because I live in a small town. But it's just the thought of having to return the book before I'm ready to return the book that I just don't like. I have Vow of Revenge. This is a Mafia Academy series by P. Ryan, and I've heard mixed things about this, but it's a Mafia Academy. Right up my alley. I like I said before, Mafia, anything Mafia I want to get. There's more books in this series. I think there's like 5 or 6 at this point. This is book 1. I wanted to get more in the series, and I just couldn't find more in the series. Things I did find though, Kingmakers. This is year 2 and year 3. They have beautiful sprayed edges, and they match cover-wise and sprayed edge-wise of the first book I have. And I'm guessing they're all just gonna be called Kingmakers with different years on the top, which I'm okay with. That's fine with me. Don't know how long the series is. I think it's like 5 or 6 books, but this is another Mafia, I think, kind of Academy series or college, and I'm here for it. It's probably, like I said, I have a problem. I want to collect the series and like have it all here before I start reading the series. So even though I'm really in a Mafia mood right now, I just can't make myself do it. Then next, this is another highly recommended series, and I'm not sure which one's the first one. This one is Trials of the Sun Queen by this author, and Rule of the Aura King. I've been watching a lot of Romantasy bookstagrammers, and this is another series that came highly recommended, so I picked them up. They were cheap. Well, were they cheap? I actually don't know if this one was cheap, but this one was cheap. It was $8, which for a book is cheap anymore, I guess. For anything anymore, I guess, is cheap. And that's all the books. Please let me know your thoughts on any of these books if you have any. Which books you think I should try to prioritize. And honestly, if you have any recommendations for like Romantasy or Mafia books or anything like that, leave them in the comments below. I love getting recommendations from you guys. It really does not help my control on buying the books. You know what? I don't have self-control, and honestly, I don't need it. I don't want it. Actually, I really do need it, but I don't want it. I just want more bookshelf space, so I need to get more bookshelves, but I don't have any room space for the bookshelves. I'm gonna let you guys go. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry I'm a chaotic mess right now. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!